Hey everyone, this is Fernando doing another video for more survivalists. Just show you guys in the previous video the new cold steel Bowie Machete, which is a fantastic knife. I've recommended a lot. I love it, and it's a fantastic deal for the money. You get a chunk, huge piece of a knife that has a great shaped blade, as they say, awesome classic design, a good grip, good material, good steel. And the only thing that I said that needs to be improved is the edge. The edge is a little bit better than the older one. It is at least grind to some extent, but it still needs a little bit of work. Now see if I get it to focus there. There it is. As I said in the previous video, it has a bit of a wire edge. A wire edge is a barb of wire right in the edge that's not letting the true edge do its job. So you drag your nail and you feel it catch right there in the edge. If I drag my nail on the other side, it's not going to be catching. You see, it's not catching there because the barb, that wire edge, is bended towards this side. And here, yes, it does catch, and actually some metal does come off. But I thought about it, and I'm going to be doing a short video on how to improve at least this a little bit. I'm not going to be doing a very fine sharpening job like I did in my older cold steel Bowie Machete, which I showed you guys. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of a utilitarian edge without reprofiling this bevel in any way. I'm going to be leaving it as it is, very, very coarse, but using this Victorinox sharpener that I think I haven't done a review of it before. I'm going to be touching it up a little bit and get rid of that wire edge. So yes, this is kind of like a strop. It's a ceramic rod, and what you do is just this. This is a different technique from the other one that I did for my other cold steel knife. As I said, I have a video of what I did before. Is it focusing, or? I suppose there it is. With my older cold steel Bowie Machete, what I did was use a mouse pad, sandpaper, and I taped the sandpaper over the mouse pad in a firm table, and with a little bit of water worked both sides with a lot of patience. Again, there's a video of that, one of my first videos. Look it up and go to my channel. In the search box, put cold steel Bowie Machete, and you will no doubt find it pretty quick. This is a different technique. It's just a matter of getting rid of that nasty wire edge and see what we can achieve. I'm just curious about what we can achieve if we just put a few minutes. So far only 3 minutes, as you guys see. What it is that we can achieve if we just do this and repeat it time and again. Both directions, at least for now. Like the butchers usually do. They just touch up their blades a little bit like this. And let's take a look. I think some of it is already gone. Still catching. Not so much anymore. Let's keep doing this for a few minutes. No, as I was saying, this is a fantastic deal because this is a kind of knife that does everything. Any of those more demanding tasks the big knife will do. And you know what? I know that smaller bushcrafty type of knives are very popular and all that. I've always liked big knives. Where I come from in Argentina, the gauchos would usually have a big facón knife, something like this. Yeah, well, this is a little bit more fancy, but nonetheless, a big knife was what these guys, the gauchos, usually had with them for all the good reasons. A big knife will do what a small knife can do as well, and all those tasks where a small knife just will not do. trying not to be that, you know, not to focus only on local experiences. If you go a little bit north, Brazilian territory, Amazon jungle, what do guys use there? Machetes. And particularly they're very fond of short machetes like this. Yes, you need the bigger ones for working your way through the jungle, but for the average, everyday kind of tasks, those guys love short machetes. If you watch some of those documentaries you see every once in a while in National Geographic and Discovery Channel, before they started doing reality TV shows and screwed up everything they had done in the past. Well, back in the day, you children that are watching this, back in the day, National Geographic was more about National Geographic, and Discovery Channel, same thing. They would do documentaries of nature, of primitive cultures, you know. And if you manage to catch one of those old documentaries and see one of those guys in the Amazon jungle, what they did with those machetes is just fantastic. And it's just about being resourceful. With a big knife like this, you don't need a smaller one. You just grab it by the blade like this. If there's something that you need a little bit more detail work, you just grab it like this and you pry, you carve, just grabbing your knife a little bit more closer to the tip. You put it under your armpit like that, being careful not to cut yourself, of course, but there's always ways in which you can work your way around to do smaller tasks with a big knife. You can use it this way as well, drawing it towards you, against you. You can, with this particular tip, which I like, and I think it's better than the typical Latin machete tip, which is very broad, not so much for nice detail work, but you know what? It's understanding a little bit of history as well. Back in those days, steels usually, when machetes first got started, steels weren't as good as they are now. Now with good materials like 1055 steel, properly heat treated, you can get away with doing a little tip like this, and it's, you know, chances of you breaking it are nearly as much as it was in the past with the older materials, with the older techniques and heat treatments. I'm probably boring you guys, but if you're watching this, you probably like it. So yeah, that's basically why the older machetes, probably a little bit more softer materials, not as good quality of steel as this kind of knives that we have now. And to be honest, besides those typical Latin machetes with the more rounded tip, it's more about cutting through bush and making your way through jungle rather than having a more of a clip point blade like with this Bowie knife. Very light, and the balance is just perfect. It's just like maybe a couple of inches above where the grip ends. Very light, very fast in the hand as well. You see how with a little bit of practice I'm already getting good speed here. Yes, you can do this with a sharpening stone and a table properly. I'm more of an improvised type of dude and usually do things this way. You know what? And it's nice to try different things. I tried the mouse pad and sandpaper before, had good results with that. But let's just see what we can do with 10 or 12 minutes of doing this. I already feel that it's not biting into it as much as it did before. The angle that I'm keeping is trying to keep with the original, maybe a little bit more steep. All right, let's see if we're getting anywhere here with this. What do you guys say? Am I getting anywhere with this or not? Still a bit of a wire edge. This is harder than I thought it was. I thought that because it had been burned with a grinding stone that much, that there wasn't that much left, or at least that it was much softer. But well, that's good news. It's not as soft as it appears. When an edge gets burned with a grinding wheel, because of the high temperatures of the grinding wheel, the heat treatment gets ruined there, and you have to go through more material. You have to eat up more material with whatever sharpening method you're using, so as to reach where the steel is as it's supposed to be, where it's harder. That's usually what you happen to see when edges get burned. A knife can be completely ruined if the temperature reached when using grinding wheels or belts. When you use a belt and the temperature is too high and you're not controlling that, you're not using a little bit of water at least to bring down the temperature some, there's a good chance that you may ruin the temper of your knife. And yes, you can have it sent back and retempered and all that, but it's a huge can of worms. Better to just go about it slowly. I like doing things like this with by hand, not using power tools all the time. Using a power tool could be another option. Of course, it would be much faster than just doing this, but no big deal. I like doing it. It's relaxing. So let's see where we are at right now. Our piece of paper here, it's a little bit better, much better. It's not outstanding, but still better. Yep. Especially sharpen nicer here, closer to the edge, to the handle. I mean, let's see how it slides all across. Needs a little bit more of work here in the middle section, but that's okay. You know what? Some people actually prefer to have a sharper section here, sharp section here for more detailed work, and don't worry that much about here where it's going to be doing more of a chopping task. But I'd say it's okay. A few more minutes. Now you see how it cuts improperly there as soon as I reach the okay, yeah, no, not bad at all. Good working utilitarian edge. In what, 13 minutes? Guys, I'm pretty happy with that. Folks, I'm gonna be doing sometime a review of this little tool here by Victorinox. It's very decent. It's not fantastic. It's not my favorite sharpening stone. I think I like a little bit more the Fogneven little square stone that I did a review on some time ago, but this isn't bad. It has a ceramic rod on this side, and you have a couple ceramic pieces there. Been doing this all the time like that for smaller knives, for folding folding blades. It has to be a bit more narrow. Guys, that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any ceramic stick or even something else which you could think you could a small sharpening stone, you saw how I just did it on both sides. Takes a little bit of practice to keep the angle right all the time, but good way of practicing with a cheaper knife like the Cold Steel Bowie Machete. Folks, have a great day. See you in our next video.